juice here. Eat well here. Feel swell here. We go for a ride or an afternoon stroll. We cheer each other on. And go for the goal. Here, a treasured history meets the energy of a town on the rise. In a place with true heart and soul, and where we have our own special beat. Jamestown, North Carolina, where history and possibility meet.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Councilmember Glanville.
Here.
Councilmember Rayburn.
Here.
Mayor Montgomery.
Here.
Councilmember Burgess.
Here.
Councilmember Wolf.
Here.
A quorum is present.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Rayburn, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow your heads for a moment of silence. Thank you. Council, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, I'd like to request to remove item 5C, consideration of approval of revised joint governmental agreement with PTRWA under new business from the agenda.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Katie, do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
Yes, Ed Stafford.
Hello, everyone. As you may know, I'm Ed Stafford. Lived here on Guilford Road since I was 2 years old. And my first interaction here with the town was volunteer fire department. And I've served in many, many positions here through the years. I'm just here to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the town of Jamestown. I want to say thank you to the staff inside that have helped me negotiate my various volunteer jobs. And as a homeowner, when I needed help about my sidewalks or about my home or about my leaf removal, everybody I've called has worked so hard to be kind and to be informative to me. I just enjoyed 18 holes of golf today out at our beautiful golf course. And of course, everybody was out there to help me, and I think they considered giving me a honorary lessons from the pro, just for the safety of the fellow golfer. But I did make one birdie today.
Okay.
That was the first round I've played in 2024. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you guys serving, taking of your personal time from your families to sit here and listen and make your best judgments for the town of Jamestown. I know you get a lot of abuse. There are always folks that disagree, no matter what you do, no matter what your side's on. But you guys tough it out. You're here to serve Jamestown and make the best decisions you can. And I just wanted to say thank you very much. And please give my best to the staff. God bless you, each one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rick Clapp.
Richard Clapp, 104 Newberry Street, council members, mayor. I was going to be here last month, but I was out of town, out of state. I know a local newspaper did an article about what I'm going to talk about, but I'm still here to try to articulate. It's about the contract with the Sheriff's Department. And I know I've got a copy of it right here. It was written 30 years ago. And that's probably, I think, when we had the ABC store. I've lived here, I've graduated Ragsdale in '76, so, and I know there was lines out from the ABC store on weekends, if people remember it. But now that money has dried up, and I guess the budget has $600,000 earmarked. Now it's almost $500,000. I just think we should look at it a little more intently, especially with the light of the increase in the property taxes and the $30 of the vehicle tax. And we're the only town, not city, but town that has a contract with the Sheriff's Department. Summerfield is the other district, District 1, we're District 3, which is right here in town, but they don't have a contract, and their district is right there in Summerfield. I just wish you'd look at it and other things for the budget instead of increasing taxes. Thank you. God bless Jamestown.
Thank you. Christina Reeser.
Christina Reeser, 2621 Glasshouse Road. I'm not sure the citizens of Jamestown are aware. However, with the approval of tonight's consent agenda, the Town Council has approved the appointment of Corey Rayborn to the Guilford County Historic Preservation Commission and the reappointment of Rich Glover as Jamestown PTRWA representative. Why is this significant? Corey is Rebecca Rayborn's husband, while Rich Glover is a Greensboro resident, former employee of the town contractor Jamestown Engineering, representative of the 4718 Harvey Road applicant, and participant in the failed remediation of Seaboard Chemical Plant, which is currently contaminating Deep River, which feeds into Randleman Reservoir, our public drinking water source. Conflicts of interest aside, the town of Jamestown failed to advertise these seats, while Randleman and Greensboro publicly advertised their PTRWA open seats, and the applications and/or conflict of interest statements were not made available in tonight's meeting agenda packet for public viewing. And as a town council member, Rebecca Rayborn voted and approved these appointments without stating her conflict of interest. On the topic of Rebecca Rayborn, she is limited commenting on her Councilwoman Rebecca Mann Rayborn Facebook page, essentially blocking me and other community members, which is illegal based on the most recent Supreme Court ruling on public officials and social media usage. Information which I provided the mayor and town council back on May 2nd, 2024, so no one in front of me today can claim they did not know. The town of Jamestown and former town council and current planning board member John Capes has also followed suit in blocking their critics. Speaking of John Capes, how was he appointed to the planning board so quickly? It seems to me he used his position as former councilman to get on the planning board shortly after losing his seat in the last election. Do you mean to tell me there were not more qualified and or interested volunteers to fulfill this role? I am curious to know if there was an open call for applicants and or a list of applicants who were passed up. Also, who appointed John Capes to be the voice of the town and or planning board? Last I checked, the responsibility is bestowed upon the town manager and or planning board chair or vice chair. And also, how are public meetings held during daytime hours benefiting citizens of Jamestown? It seems to me the town is doing everything in their power to disengage the public versus encouraging public participation. As the mayor and town council, I suggest you start upholding your obligations to the citizens of Jamestown, as well as keep your colleagues, employees, and volunteers in line, because you're all working for the citizens of Jamestown, not the other way around. And as a reminder, there's a busted sewer pipe near Harvey Road Bridge spewing its contents into Deep River, our public drinking water source. It was reported back in January, and as of this week, the pipe has not been repaired. The town is responsible for self-reporting, but what good does that do? At what point does the problem get addressed? It's been 8 months. Instead of using ARPA funds to construct sidewalks, how about we use these funds for what they were intended for, needed water infrastructure repairs? Thank you.
Robert Frederick.
Robert Frederick, 500 Windwood Drive. I also appreciate the work of council members, volunteers, staff, and do appreciate that golf course particularly. but I do not consider it a place that, is really something that has been disproportionately affected by the economic woes of the COVID-19 pandemic. But that's what the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, referred to just a moment ago, ARPA funds, were intended to counteract. You've got before you consideration of an award of a contract for a basketball court, redoing that basketball court under ARPA with ARPA funds, and natural playground, play equipment at the Jamestown Park and Golf Course. Now, this funding, mentioned in the full and final rule, this funding may indeed be used for parks, but these funds are only meant to be spent on eligible park projects. And what makes them, again, eligible is that they are in disproportionately impacted communities. Not the community that is most of Jamestown, but certainly considers other parts of it. Now, I understand that there's the way that Jamestown went about it was to say, you know what, we're going to take the particular exemption, or let's see, how is it referred to as here? The CSLFBF or FRF funds, which y'all did, and there's a reference to that within taking the standard allowance and then sort of using it and sort of, playing kind of a shifting game of this funds come in here and then we can use these funds over there. However, the University School of Government at UNC says at the top of that same page that was referencing that same sort of understanding, it says these funds remain grant funds and must still be expended in compliance with the grant award terms and conditions. So it seems like you're spending a lot of money to build some sidewalks and some things for our wonderful park, but that are from federal dollars that aren't supposed to be used in that way. They're supposed to be used for essentially communities within Jamestown, the Oakdale community, the community that's over on Scientific, that have been left behind, that don't have sidewalks to get to the grocery store. They have to walk on the street of Scientific, kind of a dangerous street, or Oakdale, kind of a dangerous street. These are not funds that are meant for, making our wonderful town even better in the sense of rewarding those of us who are already doing economically okay, but helping those who haven't had that opportunity. Thank you.
Scott Coakley, would you like to enlighten us on the grants and the contract?
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here tonight to talk to you about the basketball court renovation that is part of our Part of Grant project. I just wanted to let you know where we are. We started this process back in May. We published an RFP to replace the old basketball courts, to remove and replace. All the bid proposals needed to be received by June 20th, in which we only received one proposal. Over the next few weeks, staff worked together and we contacted several other companies that specialized in basketball courts or other recreational needs. And we talked to 7 different companies to get quotes, and we only received 3 in total. We spent some time going over the quotes and going back and forth, and we finally got to the lowest price we could. That is a reputable builder that has experience. And trying to find experience and value in the same item is definitely a challenge, but I feel we have made the best decision with the company chosen. That's what you have in your packet with Churchich Recreation. We'd love to award this project to, and the quote you have in front of you is also the actual contract that would be used. There's a place just to sign on it, and they are the lowest responsible bidder.
Any questions for Scott?
Well, of course, I know that the grants administrator and you, as well as other staff, they did research to know that this is a qualified use for these funds. And of course, those basketball goals used by by kids from all communities in Jamestown. Well, and outside of Jamestown too, but it's not specific. So I guess a lot of use from kids from all the community in Jamestown. Do
And
you
I
know-
guess to add to that, just really quickly, I think if anyone goes to the park and actually looks and sees, they would see a huge range of kids.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them probably not from Jamestown, but that's fine. You know,
That's
we love having
that's what
hosting
it's meant for, yeah.
kinds of
whole-
folks there,
Whole
so.
community. Do you know what, if this was awarded, what the start date would be? How far they are from?
They can actually move pretty quick
Pretty
after
quick.
talking to them. They're going to be moving out of our area in a few weeks. The biggest thing would have to order the goals itself, and once we get those ordered, that's about 2 weeks before they get in here, but they should be able to start it within a couple weeks after that. So,
And it won't take them long to do. Of course, they're going to tear it up first. You got to tear that up.
yeah, and once they're removed and the new pad is poured, it's going to have to cure
Yeah.
for several weeks before we can put the new goals up. So there will be a little bit of downtime, but that's inevitable in this situation.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know it's used a lot. I mean,
It's probably the most used,
I can't believe,
piece
I
out
read another one in July when it was like, you know, humidity was 100 degrees. There was kids out there playing, and they were having a great time. And it is needed to be done, so I have no questions. I think it's awesome. I'm
and
glad you
these
finally
are
got some more
concrete
bids.
too, so these will be built to last.
I assume there could, obviously, just to Martha's point, that there can be delays because of weather, because I know very little about concrete, but I know we've had some concrete work done, and if it's raining, they cannot do it, so, and you have to have like a span of several days with no expected rain, is that right?
Yes. Now, once it's poured, actually rain will
Help it.
benefit, I mean, the concrete will benefit from a
Right.
little bit of moisture, but one of the reasons why we wanted someone to demo and pour the new was because where it's graded at now has been there for so long. There's not, if we tear it out and then it has to sit there waiting on contractors, or another company comes in to tear it out and it's sitting there and the weather's raining, it can change the grade, and it'll lessen the chance of cracking in the future.
Great.
Well, if there's no further questions, I move to make a motion to award the contract to the lowest responsible bidder, Church Rich, is it Church Rich?
Churches.
Recreation, amount of $1,066.80, and to allow the town manager and finance director to execute all the documents.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Scott. And you can move on to the natural play area.
Good evening, to Mayor and Council. It's me again.
You're still Scott.
Thanks again for allowing me this time. Now I'd like to discuss the natural play area that we've been working on as well. As another element to the part of grant, we are installing a nature trail and a natural play area. The goal is to design about 800 foot of nature trail that has some natural play features along the way, things like balance beams that look like logs and tunnels that kids can crawl through that resemble logs, steppers and climbers that look like rocks and mushrooms, and these will all be just little plot pods along the trail. We plan to use these items to create small pockets of play for the kids that don't look out of place in the trees. Also along the trail, we plan to install benches that look like half logs and educational signage. There's going to be that along the way. I hope to get a couple more pieces in there, but for now, we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, I'll bring you a surprise. But for now, this is what the quote that y'all have is what we're asking for tonight. And after we reached out to 6 different companies for natural play equipment, we had some various designs that came back. But keeping the budget in mind, there was this one that was at the top of our list. We feel like it gets the most bang for the buck and had the same vision we did. That's Carolina Parks and Play. This company is who we buy our benches from downtown, all the black Jamestown benches as well.
Oh, yeah.
So they were the lowest responsible bidder. Both of these projects we're super excited about and can't wait to see them completed. And paired with the universal playground that's coming, Jamestown Park will surely be a destination.
Well, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to award.
Oh, I had a good question.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Well, first, I'm very excited about this because when my kids are too old now to enjoy this passive playground, but when they were little, we would go out there and just go through that one tube over and over again. So I think this is going to be great for smaller children. But I did have a question. It sounds like we've worked with this company before, and I assume this is pretty standard contract language. The only thing I had a question about on their contract was the returns, that we would be, have a 25% restocking fee and charged for both freight for both outbound and inbound shipment. The only reason I had a question about that is, does that include if they deliver something to us that they have not packaged properly and it is damaged upon arrival, are we expected to pay the restocking fee and freight?
I will ask about that. I would say no, because I won't sign the forms if it's
Okay.
damaged when it gets here.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So especially
I've just had,
without-
again, I've not dealt with this company, I've never had playground equipment delivered to my house, but I have had many things, as we all have, delivered to our house, and some things are not packaged appropriately, and they arrived all damaged, and I would hate for us to have to incur a cost to send something back if it was not our fault to begin with.
I will say we ordered a bench from this company last year and put it in front of the Veterans Memorial. When it came in, the bench was damaged. The trucking company said it came like that. Of course, the company said the trucking company did it. So
Right, yeah.
they didn't hesitate. They sent me a new bench.
Oh, great, okay.
They allowed us to we put together the one that we had so they can do the ribbon cutting and their little ceremony, and then they shipped me a new one, and we exchanged it out, and we didn't have to pay anything.
Oh, great,
Well, that's a good
wonderful.
reputation.
Yeah.
Well, again, like I said, for the other one is I'm sure our staff and our grants director did see that this qualified and it is good use of funds. And it is a sad playground out there, very sad.
It's tired. It's tired.
It's very tired. So again, kids of all ages and community and diversity and abilities and capabilities will use this. So I think it's an awesome, awesome thing.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, I really love the idea of that spin thing. We talked about it briefly.
Oh, the merry-go-round?
No, is that the one that you hop on and you spin around, and you said that you were gonna add something for the handicapped, which I thought was
Okay, yeah.
really good.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good thing.
It's all inclusive.
That's
Yes,
that's actually on the project I'm going to be bringing y'all in September, I hope.
Oh, okay, so, I'm really excited about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of our big ones. That's a different grant. That's the AFP grant. So, but
That's the one
we have
that's
an RFP
really
out
stuck
for
in
that
my
now.
head, too.
Sound like fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Well, I don't know, Sarah, you say that your kids are too big, but I want to go and join the playground.
I can
Well,
take
you know,
my grandkids.
they're too cool for everything, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make the motion to award the contract to the lowest responsible bidder, Carolina Parks and Play, in the amount of $64,936.04, and to allow the town manager and finance director to execute all documents.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. I can't wait either.
I know.
Paul?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here to present the In Situ Form Technologies contract, which is a cured-in-place pipe sewer repair project. We received contract pricing Friday, and we've been negotiating with the contractor. This is a procurement contract, if you want to call it a piggyback contract. Unit price is already established, so we have to follow our procurement policies. Been speaking with Faith, making sure that we can use this project for it. It works well. We are trying to address sewer issues at the Deep River Crossing in particular. We have another area that's of concern, and this project will reline the sewer starting at Oakdale Road to the end of our system, which seems to be the most problematic by far at this time. And the funding sources we had three components in the current budget. We had a reappropriated $650,000 project for the aerial sewer replacement. Then we had a Deep River cured-in-place pipe contract for $300,000 and a sewer outfall project for $500,000. This checks all the boxes. It is our biggest need area. The contract prices that we received on Friday afternoon was, for all items starting at Oakdale Road to the plant, $1,242,585. The three contracts we have is 1.45, so it is within budget, but we have been negotiating with them. We had some questions on some of the quantities of some of the items in the contract, so I respectfully request that staff and council proceed with negotiating with this contract with a not to exceed. The intent is that we can get a reduction from this price and still be within budget.
Okay, well, of course, someone had made a mention earlier that this has been going on, and of course, the town has been aware. We have made repairs and waited until we could actually do the actual work. And it has been on the CIP for quite a while, so it's got to be done. I think I applaud staff for going out and finding the state contract that we could use, and it does help, even though it seems like a lot of money, but it's a big project. But I applaud them to be able to find that, and that we did get a better price. After I talked to Matt, I immediately called Faith, because when it's money. And I trust your judgment, and she did tell me that, yes, we have the monies, because to explain, there was that other project from $650,000 of last year that we brought forward that wasn't done. And I got a little confused. We weren't using maybe the same names on some of this stuff. It was Oakdale, or was it Deep River? But she set me straight. So we do have the monies. My question was, too, with the east side treatment repairs we've got coming up, and some of our other sewer projects coming up, and the Randleman Water Authority expansion, do we have the monies? But she assured, of course, those are things to be done later, but it's sure we have the money, so I'm certainly in favor of awarding it. And I like doing it all at one time, not trying to go multiple years and fix a little, fix it here, do it, fix it. Yeah, so that's my 2 cents.
And I want to apologize, I didn't say, by using this contract, we probably are knocking 3 months off the project, and I would say 8 to 15% off the cost. So I do feel like we've got somewhere $150,000 of value by going this route.
I want to say it's going to be a hard project to get to.
Access is a big component.
To do the work, yeah, and a dangerous project if you're doing it another way with heavy cranes and these kind of things. So safety is an issue, but getting it done quickly. And I guess any permits, you would know what to get from the state or the Division of Water Quality or EPA?
Yeah. I have been working with DENR or DEQ and their technical staff, and this is a maintenance project. We are not adding new pipe, we're not adding new capacity. This is not permitted. Actually, the product, they actually recommended this particular contractor, and then in doing some digging, we were able to find this pre-approved contract where we can use the established unit prices.
Well, kudos to staff for doing that. I think that's awesome, yeah.
I've got to say, Paul, I feel very badly for you, because I feel like you come up here and you're like the electrician and plumber of the group. Scott's the interior designer. Like, the things he proposes, we get to see the final product and be like, oh, this is lovely, and you just get the stuff that's all underneath. That costs lots of money, but it's totally necessary.
Look, our kids are going to love climbing on this, too.
That is true.
Don't climb.
No, don't say that.
Okay.
Any other questions for Paul?
Okay, I will make a motion to award the contract to the pre-qualified bidder, Instituform Technologies, LLC, and authorize the manager/assistant manager, finance director, and public services director to execute documents to complete the cured-in-place pipe project with a cost not to exceed $1,242,585.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you,
Thank you.
Paul.
Thank you.
Matthew, do you have a manager's report for us?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank goodness I did not have to say cured-in-place pipe project.
I know, that's a tongue twister.
That's rough. I've messed it up more than once this past week. Updating you on the progress of grants. With the PARTF and AFP grants, again, playground equipment, we're anticipating award in September. That's what Scott alluded to with the handicap accessible playground. We did award contract for new shelters. Work's going to begin on that soon. Contract for the basketball and the natural play area. Thank you very much for awarding those. So those will begin soon as well. Main Street waterline replacement project. Paul's anticipating that we're going to have a bid package out hopefully by the end of the month. The sewer line replacement that you just worked on is going to take precedence, so we want to get that sort of underway first. Oakdale sidewalks. We had a sidewalk meeting a little bit earlier this evening, and one of the comments we had was, when is the Oakdale sidewalk work going to be ready? And we were able to explain that there was a couple of things that need to be redesigned that we were not anticipating. Our staff have negotiated a price for that redesign and are moving forward with that. So we're hoping that will be done in hopefully in September, and then we'll start seeing some progress with the right-of-way acquisition. We've gotten a few of those signed already. So we're still working on right-of-way and easements, and once that's ready, we will submit to DOT a request so that we can go to bid. And then that'll be a much closer step to getting that sidewalk on the ground. Penny Road Waterline Project, fall of '24. Oakdale Cotton Mill aerial replacement. Thank you for going ahead and seeing that we can do that. We're still working on trying to reduce those costs a little bit with the contractor, but we feel like we have a path forward to get that replaced, which is fantastic. Our smaller sidewalk projects, those are the brick sidewalk projects. Jason Pegram, our Assistant Public Service Director, has been working with contractors for a start date on the work, but some of that is moving some utility poles that are in conflict, and I think he's made some headway on that. So I would anticipate that starting here in the fall. As I said earlier, we had the open house to discuss the East Main Street to Millis Road portion of the sidewalk. That is a concrete sidewalk, not brick. So there was a little bit of a typo on the letters that the contractors, that are designers, that sent out. And so Rebecca Ashby, our grants manager, has made herself available not only tonight, but she'll also be here tomorrow in case somebody shows up for that. Music in the Park will continue on September 6th with the Originals Band. They do a lot of 70s, 80s, and 90s music and some beach music favorites. These were the original members of the Part-Time Party Time Band, which is almost as fun to say as Kieran plays pipe. The OGs, as they go by, will be coming out again this year. They're going to be extremely entertaining. They're a great band. We do have our lineup for food and beverage vendors available on the Facebook site. I did want to say a very special thank you to both our public services and our Parks and Rec employees who spent time out in Hurricane Debbie. They cut up a lot of trees that had fallen around town. They kept making sure that the streets and everything were still open. So thank you very much to them for being able to be here and be on call. We have a couple of those folks here tonight. And I'm going to let Paul introduce those in just one second. But I'm going to take just a moment to introduce Deborah Mullis, who is our Lead for North Carolina Fellow. And I'll ask her to come up here in just a second. A little bit about the Lead for North Carolina Fellowship Program. The program is designed to connect new graduates to local governments like us that can use their support and help grow their skills at the same time. Deborah graduated from NC State. Councilmember Wolf, with a degree in political science and a minor in accounting in 2023. She spent the past few months working with some nonprofits and also in government. And here with us, she's going to be focusing on citizen engagement as well as helping our finance team. She will be with us until the end of June of 2025, but I'm going to let her come up and say hello to you. After that, Paul will introduce a couple of new employees from public services, unless you have questions.
Yes, if you don't, I always have to have a question.
Not a problem.
Do you have any idea about how long it will take or a schedule of work for Duke Energy to move the poles and stuff for the small sidewalk projects? Have they given us any idea?
I don't know off the top of my head unless, Paul, you have, yep.
Okay.
I don't have anything right now, but I'll get something for
And
you.
then just to say again, on Oakdale, any help I can provide to help move it along, I'll do whatever I can.
I do appreciate that. We're holding you in reserve for some of the difficult ones.
I just, that needs to move forward so badly.
Timing, I'll get that for you.
I did want to say something about the Oakdale, not the Oakdale, I'm sorry, the East Main Street ARPA sidewalk project.
Yeah.
I just know that, in, the community and in government, we can all have spirited opinions, and, when there's subjective terms, we're all going to have different ideas of how to apply those terms. But personally, I believe this project is spot on. I'm a firm believer in that kids should be able to walk to school, and right now, the folks in Yorkley, and if you have ever visited the apartments over at Yorkley, I would say that probably is an area that's been disproportionately affected by COVID, and right now those parents don't have a safe way to walk their kids over to Millis Road School, so I'm very excited about this project, actually, and I'm glad we got some help in funding for it. So.
Yeah.
Thank you for that
Very good
comment.
point.
I actually used you as an example earlier because somebody asked me, who's going to use this? And I said, well, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know. But I do know that there's at least one member of council who's an avid runner and is typically out all the way on Guilford College Road on the sidewalks there. And this will provide another connection. It actually goes, basically to the YMCA.
That's right.
And then they will be able to make that connection very easily to the rest of town. So thank you.
It completes a 5-mile loop.
Almost. The Penny Road will do that once we get that one complete, but yes.
Well, like I said too, of course, the kids at Ragsdale and the other schools there, some go to GTCC for different things.
Yeah.
I like them having the crosswalk there at the gazebo.
With the middle college.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like you say, it scores highly on projects.
And additionally, when the Livable Communities AARP committee was more active, I mean, that's right in the middle of things. I mean, making all areas of the community more accessible, making them walkable, and that's something, people can fitness walk for free, and so it hits all age ranges. So absolutely, I think we're all big fans of sidewalks here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
I will turn it over to Deborah, and then Paul will follow her. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction, Matthew, and just really excited to be here for my first town council meeting and be here for the next few months. And as a part of my program, I would really like to talk to all the town councilors one-on-one and engage with as many citizens as possible. So feel free to talk to me whenever, and I'll also try to reach out to make time on everyone's busy schedule so I can really get to know everyone and what the town's facing a lot better. Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome to Jamestown.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'll embarrass them and get them to head on up. We've got 2 new employees here. Carson Bailey's in front, and Garrett Christie is next to him. I'll probably have my timelines wrong, but you've been here 3 months, almost 2 months? Roughly. And these 2 employees have the distinction. They work 2 days in water and sewer generally and 2 days in sanitation. Garrett's out with the recycle truck on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and Carson's out there on Thursdays and Fridays. I knew I'd screw that up, but I think I made it through it. But anyway, they've been a welcome addition to staff, and we're blessed with the staff that we have. I don't know if they want to say a couple words as well.
Glad to be here.
Well, glad to have you. Carson, you've been to my house. I've talked to you.
Well, I was going to say, poor Garrett got accosted by some crazy councilwoman over there on Ragsdale Road, one of the 2 that live on Ragsdale Road, going out to say hello and thank him as he was coming by to just pick up the, garbage and recycling, and here comes this crazy lady. So he handled it very well and made it very clear, lady, I need to get on my way here, this is my route. But did it so politely.
Well, welcome to Jamestown. Glad you guys are here.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
The newspaper needs a picture.
If they want it taken. Look, you start asking folks if they want it. You know?
Yeah.
I thought about that.
Yeah. Well, you're always good about taking those.
Yeah, but I didn't because I thought they may not want it.
While we're having photo sessions, council, do we have any committee reports?
Well, I had a part meeting on October 14th, but again, it was not regionalization there. There wasn't anything specific to Jamestown. And the next TAC meeting is August 27th. So that's all I had.
Well, I would love to have had something to report. I do know that there were some meetings that I just did not know about, but I did request some meeting notes on that. So I'm hoping that maybe in the future or sometime soon that I would get something as it relates to the planning board. And the next planning board meeting is scheduled for September 9th.
No Parks and Rec meeting? Well, the schools are getting back at it. They are having open houses this week. So Ragsdale had theirs tonight. I have the honor of having a new freshman in the house who is taking AP Government this year. And so I met the teacher, and she has already extended an invite for one or two of us to come in and do some little, meet and greet with the students there and talk to them a little bit. So, and then Jamestown Middle has theirs tomorrow. I know JES is Thursday. I think maybe Millis Road is also Thursday, but don't put me on that one. So we're getting back to it.
Back to it, yeah.
Yep.
Great.
Thank you, Louise. Right. Do we have any other business?
I don't.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn? Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?